All right. Uh, hey, how y'all doing, YouTube? It's Steve here. Just coming back. Um, I just wanted to sit here and just talk to y'all because everything that's been going on in this country and here in America. Sometimes I do ask myself, is it worth it to have kids? Is it worth it to bring kids in this world? And I thought about this for quite a while. And I've always asked myself, like, is it worth it bringing kids in this world? Seeing what's going on right now with what's going on with the rise of inflation and the rise of food and rent and bills going up, and seeing a lot of these teachers, more specifically these teachers that fall under the LGBTQ plus category, indoctrinating their beliefs onto these kids, in these schools. It's like, I see all this stuff happening, and then it's just like, is it really worth it bringing kids into this world? And for me, this is me personally. If you want to have kids, that's fine. Or rock on if you want to have kids. But if you don't want to have kids, that's fine too. I kind of do fall under that. Oh snap! Whoa. Okay, that's the light flickering on and off. So, I mean, if you're gonna see that, you know what? Hold on one second. Yeah. Well, I don't know if y'all can see me clearly, but I just had to turn off the light. But really, if you ask me, like me personally, um, I don't think I want to have kids. After seeing what's going on right now in this society right now, um, for me, I don't see myself having kids. Like really, um, not only you know, and it's not just because the rise of inflation and you know, you know, besides the inflation stuff, kids in general are expensive. You got to make sure they're clothed, you got to make sure they're fed, you got to, you know, make sure, they have to get up and go to school, So, it's having a child, it's not an easy job. Being a parent is not an easy job. And it's just I just don't see myself, you know, feeling being a parent, like it's like it's a lot, it's a lot of hard work and responsibility, because like I said, you gotta make sure they're clothed, you gotta make sure they're fed, you gotta make sure they're bathed, you gotta make sure that they have a roof over their head, and I don't see myself doing that. I mean, me personally, I don't see myself doing that. Uh, Not only that, but you know, I don't want to. I don't want my kids to come into this world and for them to suffer. Like I don't want for them to come in to come into this world. You know, having to suffer. Whether if it deals with politics, whether if it deals with finances. I don't want them to deal with that burden, because all these, all this stuff that's been going on, with Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine and oh, excuse me. you know, I don't want my kids to I don't want my kids to live in a world where it's a lot of death and destruction going on. You know, I don't want my kids to live in a world where they're being told what to do, what to say, how they should and shouldn't live, what they should and shouldn't think about certain things. I don't want my kids to go through that. And, you know, not only that, but, like I said before, kids are expensive and they're also, I don't mean to say this, but I don't like mean no harm or disrespect, but like kids are a pain in the ass. I don't see myself raising kids because like not only they're expensive, but they're a pain in the ass. And not only they're a pain in the ass, but they're annoying. They're highly annoying. That like there have been moments like where I've worked at because I used to work at restaurants, right? Not just two. I used to work at two restaurants, right? And I also worked at a grocery store, right? So whenever I'd be working and doing certain things, that's not a child friendly environment. Like, sometimes I'm like stocking stuff or, I'm putting stuff away or, I'm trying to clean stuff off, the like there would be kids like running around and stuff like that. And, the parents they see their kids running around. They see their kids, acting a fool and they don't do anything. Like they don't do nothing. These parents nowadays, they just don't care. Like they just let their kids just say whatever and do whatever. And it's like, yo, you don't see this? Like you don't see what your kid is doing? Like you don't hear what your kid is saying, but it's like parents today, they don't give a shit. Like they just, you know, they just let their kids do whatever and say whatever. And, but that's neither here nor there. But really, I don't see myself bringing kids into this world, honestly. Um I do see myself with a woman. I do see myself, being in a relationship with a woman, getting married. I do see myself getting married, but kids, I don't see myself having kids, like honestly. Like I don't it, it's just I just don't I really do not see myself having kids because I is I gotta make sure they're clothed and fed and they're bathed and I have to make sure that they have a roof over their head. I gotta I have to do all of that. And I don't want them to into this world where they're living under a corrupt system. Like the system that we live under right now is so it's always excuse me it's always been corrupt, but like now it's even more corrupt. It's gotten even more corrupt than it was before. So you know I don't want society to tell my kids what they can and can't do. what they can and can't say, because now it's at a point where you can't say anything or do anything without people getting mad or throwing a temper tantrum or trying to cancel you. Is really annoying at this point, and I don't want my kids to go through that. And another thing is too, you see a lot of, like I said before, you see a lot of these teachers that lean towards the rainbow community, that are trying to indoctrinate kids into thinking a certain way when it comes to sex, and when it comes to yeah, you know gender identity and all that stuff like that, you know or when it comes to like wanting to transition at an early age. I don't want my kids to be going through that, because there are some schools that are doing that, and it's been going on for a couple years now. As a matter of fact, there were some videos I saw on YouTube a couple years ago where this guy that I watched, Greg Foreman, he calls himself Black Conservative Perspective. Uh, Greg Foreman, he's very popular on YouTube. He gives his take on what's going on in the political world, and what the left is doing, what the right is doing. So I like this guy a lot. And I've been watching him quite a lot. He gives very good takes on what's going on, with politics in general. Doesn't matter if it's left wing politics or right wing politics. He gives his perspective, and I've actually took a lot of interest in the perspectives that he's been putting out on YouTube. Um, so yeah, needless to say, um, kids are not for me. They're not for me. I'm not a kid person. Uh it's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility, and I don't see myself uh putting in that work and that responsibility, because like once you bring a kid in this world, you got them for the rest of your life. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, having kids, it's the best thing. Having kids are a joy. You know, being a parent is awesome. It's the best thing ever. But me, really, I don't see myself being a parent. I don't see myself being a dad. Honestly, I really don't see myself being a dad. Like, it's not for me. Not for me. Uh, you know, it's not the easiest job in the world. That I will say. I don't even have kids, and you know, I see how frustrating it is for parents to raise kids, and to make sure that these kids stay out of trouble and all that stuff. But yeah, I see how hard and stressful that is. And seeing that, it's like, nah, not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Yeah, but that's it. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Uh yeah, I don't really see myself having kids. I don't. Uh just not in the cards for me. Yeah, but all right, y'all. I'm out. Deuces.